right. Okay, looks like we're live. Took me a little bit to get us connected this morning. I apologize. Well, this afternoon. Maybe that's part of my problem. I'm all confused. We are about 3 minutes late, but maybe that gave people some time to join us, let's say. So I'll do a quick introduction. My name is Heidi Foy with Bullfrog Creatives, and I am a local Casper, Wyoming cowgirl, and I guess have a passion for college rodeo and kind of staying involved. So we are on round 6, I believe, of our College Rodeo 101, and today we have Mr. Andy Bolich, head coach at Montana State University. So Andy, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate your time. I know you have young kids at home too, so I get it. It's a little scary if they're going to come up behind you and do something inappropriate. I get that.
No, thanks for having me. This is fun. I'm glad you're doing this for College Rodeo. It's been great.
Yeah, it's been really fun for me. You know, it's always kind of, I've always felt connected just because of my experience with College Rodeo, but also because of the CNFR being in my hometown. Sure. It's kind of, I'm not sure what I'm going to do that week in June this year. It's going to be strange for sure. So kind of on that note, you know, the reason we started doing this was really to help colleges get connected with kids that maybe y'all don't need any kids for recruiting this year, but normally this would be when you might be making those early connections for next year. And so, you know, we want to provide this as just as something to help you guys still get connections and still get the information out about your schools. So Andy, why don't you talk about MSU a little bit? Tell me where you guys are located, and then maybe talk a little bit about the community.
Sure. So we are in Bozeman, Montana. It's a population of roughly 50,000 people. It's nestled in the mountains here. We got mountains most sides of us. The town itself is big enough where it has, you know, any service you could need, but it's also, you know, 10 or 15 minutes to a trailhead. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. There's lots of outdoor recreation here. Summer times, you know, lots of fishing and outdoor hiking and horseback riding. Winter time skiing, obviously, snowmobiling. Falls hunting, and fall springs rodeo season. So it's a good spot to be. A lot of people like to come here. It's really pretty. We're pretty fortunate to live here. As far as school goes, school-wise, we're like 16,000 people. It's the biggest university in Montana, but it also still has kind of a small town feel to it. You know, I go to campus and see rodeo students every day, and people that, you know, familiar faces. So once you get in your circles and in your classes and find your way around, it doesn't feel as big as it actually is, but it's also big enough you can meet people from every walk of life. So it's pretty unique in that regard.
Yeah, for sure. You know, it's real interesting. So I was lucky enough to rodeo in the Big Sky region, both at Northwest College and University of Montana. But being in the Big Sky region, I agree with that small town feel. It's been a while since I've spent any time in Bozeman, but I do have some family up there. And even as big as it's gotten since I've been there, it's still kind of that small town feel. You still run into people, you know. Yeah. So it's a beautiful community. I will say, coming from Casper, where you kind of adjust how you walk based on the wind, I'm going to say probably one of the first times I really saw snow fall straight down, like peaceful snow. Here, we don't have peaceful snow. So it is super, super pretty up in that area.
Yeah, for sure. It's a really nice place to be. And it has its seasons. Winter can be cold and snowy, but spring and summer and fall are lots of times beautiful. And you get the best of both worlds, I feel like. So it's a good spot.
Yeah, for sure. So listen, let's talk a little bit about academics and education. With Montana MSU being a 4-year institution, you guys probably have a lot to offer. What kind of different degree programs do you have? And I realize there's no way for you to know all of them, but kind of touch on ones that you've seen some of your student athletes go through.
Sure, yeah. So one thing about MSU is they do offer so many degrees of all different kinds, and our rodeo team is really diversified too. Like, there's a lot of kids in the College of Agriculture, but then we have kids in business and we have kids in engineering. You know, the nursing program's really good here. Obviously education, there's kids, you know, becoming teachers. pre-vet. There's lots of, one of my roommates in college ended up being a veterinarian. So there's so many options here. And also Gallatin College is under MSU, which offers 2-year degrees and 1-year certificates. So there's something for everybody if you just go online, check it out, and kind of the sky's the limit as far as degrees, because there's a whole bunch of them and they're really good. And school here is definitely school, but it gives you a good education and a good tools to be successful moving on, and you're real marketable as far as getting a job once you leave here. So I would just encourage kids to check out montana.edu and just go to scrolling through degrees and things. And obviously sometimes it works best for kids to get here and take general studies for the first semester or first year, kind of get their feet wet in these different fields and see which one is going to best suit them, and then head that direction. So really there's a whole bunch of degrees here that are all good.
Yeah, great. So I was taking some time to pull up, I don't know if you did this, we talked about it in advance, but tell me about, so I know that in different programs you can either be a part of the athletic department or you can be a club sport. Talk about how you guys have it set up there, and then we can go into this video.
Sure. So we're under the Department of Student Success. So we're not in athletics, but we're more than a club sport because we have university support. Mm-hmm. So it's a good spot. We get the perks, a lot of the perks of athletics, where the training room and the early registration and the weight room and things like that. But mm-hmm. then we're also not kind of bound by NCAA rules, because rodeo is such a different sport and branding and things like that. So my office is in the field house. That's kind of our hub still, we're over there with all the athletic sports, but we're not technically part of athletics.
So one thing that I think is really cool, and you guys have shared it on your Facebook page, and if I can be super technology savvy here, I'm going to see if I can get it to work. Let's see. So at MSU, y'all actually are involved with the football games. So let's just run this clip real quick. Whoop.
I think that's actually.
You can't be up here right now.
But she's on the tablet.
Okay.
Why can't I?
You guys need to share. So that was good timing.
Yeah, no worries.
So
that video was, I believe, from the playoff game, and must have been the second round of the playoffs, and that was like December 15th or something. So it was. But yeah, we've been a part of doing the opening for some of the home games when we're here, leading the team out horseback, and it's been. This was our 5th year of doing that, and it's just a cool opening. It's a good partnership we have with football and athletics in general. The community and the team and stuff really gets excited for that opening, because it's pretty unique, and it's actually, it's pretty intimidating. We ran out there, and the other teams are coming on the field from somewhere else, and they just all kind of just stop and watch these horses run by, and it's pretty neat, and it's been fun to get everybody connected and get everybody excited about rodeo, but through football, because in Montana, 2 biggest sports I would say is probably rodeo and football. So to get them together and have that partnership has been neat. And
yeah, it's real cool. I know that's something I've seen your videos pop up on Facebook. I think it's great that the college, sometimes when you're not a part of the athletics department, you sometimes don't get the support. And so it's really neat to see that. So why don't you talk specifically about your rodeo program?
Sure. So I did a little research. In 1947, Montana State College was what it's called then. Invited 2 other schools to have a rodeo in Bozeman, and that was kind of like the first organized college rodeo here. And then I feel like it was the next year and the next 2 years is when the NIRA came out. And so this program's been here pretty much the whole time that college rodeo's been around. And, you know, our team's won eight national team titles and 32 individuals. And, you know, we've been, you know, one of the dominant programs in the Big Sky region, like you say. You know, have had lots of good teams win the region and go to Casper and stuff. And then obviously before that, the college finals was here for 20 plus years. That was before my time, but the town's really supportive of college rodeo in general. And a lot of it stems from back when, you know, the CNFR was here, and that's such a huge event to be a part of. So yeah, so we currently, this team, when I rodeoed here, is about 24-ish kids, 28. Now we have about 50 to 55 kids on our team. And that's kind of where we're at as far as being able to provide good practice and travel and things. And we're really fortunate that the school draws a lot of good student athletes that want to come here for school and then rodeo as well. And so with that, we were able to, you know, kind of handpick some pretty darn good kids to come rodeo for us, and we're fortunate in that regard. And so yeah, we do, obviously we're Big Sky region, so we're real central to that region, which is nice. Our farthest college rodeo is 6 hours to drive to, which is not bad at all. And then being another part of with the university is those classes missed for college rodeo are excused as long as you know, the student takes care of business, kind of like they are in football or basketball or anything like that. And then let's see what else about college rodeo. We host our own college rodeo, obviously, in the spring, MSU Spring Rodeo. We do 5 in the fall, 5 in the spring. Another thing that we've added on, this was our 5th year this fall that we've done, is that we have a rodeo called the Fall Finale. And it's after the fall rodeos are done. It's just a top 10 in the region invitational.
Oh, cool.
It's not for college rodeo points. It's just a jackpot rodeo for prizes and money. But it gives like our MSU kids another chance to kind of compete at the hometown crowd. And we usually do it in conjunction with a big fall barbecue for parents and sponsors and stuff. And so it's been a neat event, and kids really look forward to it. And there's just, you know, like in college rodeo and rodeo in general, there's no substitute for competition. So to get them another rodeo under their belt is really a good thing too.
Yeah, for sure. And of course, I am partial to the Big Sky region. And so, you know, something that it was a good experience for me. I could have rodeoed in Wyoming. I could have stayed in Wyoming and rodeoed in the Central Rocky Mountain region. But one of my goals really was like, I've been rodeoing with these people. I know these kids. I really wanted to experience something different. And so I really encourage kids to get outside of their region. Even, I mean, I didn't go real far, but, you know, I started in Northwest College, and we were in the Big Sky region, and I just kind of fell in love with Montana as a whole, and really enjoyed the camaraderie in the Big Sky region. So if you're wanting to stay home, like, I get that too, it makes sense, but I know going outside of my area was really a good experience for me.
Yeah, and we have students right now from Washington, Oregon, Idaho, California, Wyoming, South Dakota, North Dakota, Iowa. There are a lot of different states, and I think a lot of them did just what you were saying. They want to experience something different, go to a different state, different bunch of kids to compete against and make the college finals. But then also we do recruit a lot of good Montana kids to stay here and have that hometown pride and, home state pride. So that's, it's a good mixture. I think out of say 55 kids, 30 of them will be from Montana. We try to keep the good ones here if we can, and that want to come and rodeo here, and then definitely look outside all the neighboring states. And sometimes we get them as far away. We have one coming this fall from Texas, so nowhere's too far.
Ooh, he gonna be cold.
Luckily he's been here a little bit,
okay. One thing that you and I talked about offline was the new experience for me was the unique. In Wyoming, there's only one 4-year college. And so it was really unique for me to be in a rival situation with MSU and the University of Montana. There's only one Pokes college. Like, we only have one school to root for, and that's kind of where everybody goes. And so it was fun, and still is fun. I know there's a lot of people that take it super seriously, but my uncle and my Uncle Con, whom we go back and forth all the time about cat grizz, and my brother went to MSU, so I give him a hard time too. And yeah, but that was a really unique situation. And yeah, I mean, it's just fun. It's a good rivalry, and I think it's the same in rodeo. I mean, when we were competing against each other, it was fun then too. So
yeah, it is. And like you say, I think the other sports are definitely more severe of a rivalry, because rodeo in general is such a great sport of people helping each other, versus football, or something like that. But it is, it's neat to, and it's like you say, most everybody has an opinion. They're one or the other. They're not, kind of this or kind of that. And so the state is divided when that, football game happens every year. But as far as rodeo comes, when the Grizzlies come to town and rodeo in the field house, everybody's excited to have a rodeo there, and then also when we get like the Caspers for the college finals, Big Sky region is pulling for each other, and that's cool. Like, we want the Montana kids to win just like the MSU kids, because they're our group that's down there. So those rivalries are cool for sure. And in rodeo, we're just lucky to kind of have the kind of neat people that are involved.
Yeah, for sure. So Andy, talk to us about practice facilities. What kind of practice facilities y'all have there? And then you mentioned, where can kids board their horses?
Sure. So we do rough stock practice right at the Bob Miller Pavilion on campus there. We house some bucking horses there. And then we also, Bar C5 out of Canada, they own a ranch in Three Forks, which is only 30 miles from us. And they provide practice horses and bulls on a weekly basis, and they do our college rodeo in the spring. So that's been a great thing. We can get on, however many horses you want and however good of horses you want. If you want some really A-string ones, they'll bring them. And if you want some nice old hoppers, we can run them in too. And that's been great for, the younger guys just getting their feet wet in college rodeo, to the ones that are pro rodeo and on the weekends that need to get on some good ones. That's been good. And we have brand new juice hog bucking machine from Link Weaver and Sheridan there. Those things are great. And some older bucking machines there at the college. And then timed event practice, we lease a private place that has an indoor and an outdoor arena. We get to house all of our cattle there and our goats. And we do that practice 4 days a week. And so the kids have a lot of opportunity to get a lot of practice in. And the practice situation is great as far as students helping each other out. It's a really good atmosphere. And some of them, came from home to where maybe they've only ever had their dad or their sibling at practice. And so it's a new feel having 20 people there running the chutes and helping you and cheering you on and stuff. And it's really neat to see them pull together, and then it transfers over to the college rodeos. Rodeo is a real individual sport, but college rodeo is neat for that team aspect, to where they're working together. Everybody with that same vest on is helping each other out. And so that's really starts at practice and then follows through the weekend.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting how when you get to the rodeo, you're looking for that other vest for help or anything else, the one that the most. So real good point. So I do remember one question that we skipped over. Can you talk about like if I'm coming there as a freshman, what are my opportunities for housing? Do I have to live in the dorms? Is there off-campus housing? Like, are there any requirements along those lines?
Sure. So for an incoming freshman, fresh out of high school, they are strongly suggested to live on campus. There's always loopholes, like you say, if you have a family member or something. But there's traditional dorms with, the single room and a shared level bathroom. And then there's also freshman apartments that are, a common living area and then separate bedrooms. There's actually two different sets of dorms that just got finished and one in the process. So there's a lot of housing opportunity right there. And within the last couple of years, there's been 2 new dining halls that have been finished, and they are top notch. Like I've only been to the one a couple of times, and it's pretty overwhelming. There's so many choices, and it's like going into a restaurant with like 15 restaurants in there. It's so the kids have a lot of choices. Like I used to hear about cafeteria food not being very good, but I don't think that's the case anymore around there. So lots of opportunities there. And then we encourage the rodeo kids to start out in the dorms. It kind of keeps them on campus, keeps them close to classrooms. They have everything they need right there. And then as they, grow up and kind of be able to branch out, then most all of them move off of campus within a year or two, just as they're ready to move on to that step in life. So, but yeah, and then the Gallatin College doesn't require students to live on campus that first year. They can if they want, but they're not required to. And that kind of opens it up for folks who are maybe a little been out of high school a couple of years, want to come back and get an associates. They maybe have a job or something. So it's not quite as a strict regulation, I guess you'd say.
Gotcha. So do you guys have any, especially with this kids getting the year back, do you guys still have any scholarship money available this fall, or any scholarships that kids could apply for?
So yeah, luckily we kind of had our recruiting done before this fiasco all started and everything got locked down and we weren't able to move. It does change it up a little bit for us with some of our seniors maybe kind of come back and do a grad program now, because now they technically could get it done in 2 years and have eligibility and things. So that it changes our budget a little bit in that regard. But we were pretty fortunate as far as having kind of our team set for next fall before this started. So there isn't, the school itself has some scholarship stuff left, but as far as our actual team roster goes, we pretty well had it locked in headed into the spring, which was nice.
Okay, and it looks like we do have a question from somebody on Facebook. Information about master's programs. Do you know about any information or any master's programs that y'all have at MSU, or maybe where we could send people?
So I would definitely send them online, but there is some master's programs. We actually have, we have 2 students in the master's program right now. One is doing a biology, I'm not even sure the title of it, but it's through her bachelor's was biology. So she's headed into that field. And another one is like social services. Her degree was philosophy. So, and then we have accounting, masters. And there's a few in animal science masters. So there's quite a few options there. I think you just need to go on there and look for which individual one you're headed for. And then, with the whole master's program with College Rodeo, that's been really great. We've had quite a few kids use that 5th year to start their master's program. So
yeah, I mean, that is a good deal. I probably wouldn't have waited to go back to get my master's degree. I would have just kept on trucking.
Yeah.
So it's a good deal for kids.
For sure. It gives them some incentive to start that master's program or get it done that 5th year while they have the opportunity to rodeo and maybe have some scholarships available and things like that.
Yeah, for sure. So, oh, great. So he C. Andrew Miller is who is commenting. Thanks for addressing this question. I found quite a few graduate level and doctoral online. So looks like he's going the right way now. Is there anything else, Andy, that you want to add about the program or anything else?
Well, we, as far as our rodeo program goes, we obviously do practices and go to our college rodeos and things, but we also do lots of stuff around the community. We do school visits every semester, several of them. We send 6 or 8 or 10 kids to an elementary school for like an after school program. And I think those are really important because they educate kids, even in Bozeman. Like Bozeman's not that big and it's in Montana, but there's a lot of kids that don't know about rodeo and our sport. And so we kind of try to educate them on rodeo and get them, thinking about it. And then when the spring rodeo rolls around or the Bozeman Stampede in the summer, they're excited to come. They have a little bit of knowledge about it. It kind of gets them to be fans, at a young age. And then, we try to give back when we can. We put a special kids rodeo on during our spring rodeo on Saturday morning. And that's been really a cool event. We've been to some some assisted living homes. We brought some horses there for their Cowboy Day one fall. And that was really cool. The old timers came out and visited and petted on the horses and told us, stories. And it's just a really good thing to get our crew out in front of the community because they're our biggest selling point. Like they're good kids, good individuals. And for people to want to support the team, that the best way to do that is just show them our product, and it's those student athletes.
Yeah, for sure. That's great. I haven't heard a whole lot about how schools or rodeo programs are giving back to the community. So that's really cool to hear. It's impressive that you guys do that kind of stuff. I know it can be hard to fit things like that in a college schedule. So hats off to you guys.
Yeah, no, our team does a great job of that, helping, stepping up, volunteering, and getting out there. And this college rodeo is just a kind of a small step in their, in life moving forward. And we just want them to be successful, whether it's they're accountants in the end or rodeo cowboys. If we can give them the tools now to navigate life, that's the goal.
Yeah, that sounds good. It doesn't seem like we're going to have any other questions. Andy, thank you so much for joining us today. If you guys that are watching now or rewatching later, I want to thank you guys that are watching live and posting questions for sure. It's always encouraging to know that there's people watching. I feel like it's been really beneficial for people. If you are rewatching this as it posted, please post comments or questions as you have them. Please reach out to myself or Andy. The goal of kind of this whole series is to help you guys find a school that's right for you and a program that's right for you. That's kind of what it's all about. So if we can answer any questions, again, I'll restate that if there's a school that you guys are looking at or that your kids are looking at, shoot me a message and I'll do my best to try to get them on with me in the future. So yeah, next week we will have Claudia Kelly and Sarah Neely in to answer any questions about the NIRA. We're going to talk about application process. We're going to talk about membership. We're going to talk about eligibility. Real big, especially for college kids right now. Make sure y'all are finishing those online classes because you still have to be eligible to come back next fall. So we're going to talk about that, going to talk about what it looks like. We'll have Jed Moore, and then we're going to wrap up next week with, I believe, my schedule is not in front of me. I believe we have Justin Hampton from West Hills College is going to be with us next Friday. So again, thank you, Andy. I appreciate your time. Your children were much more well-behaved than mine, screaming at each other downstairs. Can't win them all.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. And we'll catch you guys next week, and everybody have a wonderful weekend.
You too.